You know, we all use AI assistants, right? For little things like checking the weather or setting a timer. And they're super handy. But there's always been this catch. They kind of work in a black box, using our data on their terms in their cloud. And for a long time, we've just sort of accepted that trade-off. But what if we didn't have to?
I mean, really think about that. What if you had an AI that was just as powerful, but it lived right there on your own devices, connected only to the things you explicitly allowed, and was completely, 100% under your control?
So let's just break down the difference here. With the cloud AI we're used to, you get very limited control. Your data isn't really yours, it's the vendor's, and the whole thing is pretty generic. A personal AI, well, it completely flips the script. You get unlimited control, your data stays private with you, and you can customize it to do exactly what you want. This is really the whole idea behind local-first AI.
And that brings us to what we're talking about today. There's a project that's making this whole promise a reality. So let's meet OpenClaw.
So what exactly is OpenClaw? Well, put simply, it's a personal AI assistant that you download and run on your own computer or server. Instead of living on some company's server farm, it's a piece of software that acts like a central command hub right on your machine that connects to all the chat apps and services you already use.
What this means is OpenClaw basically pulls all your communication from WhatsApp, Slack, Telegram, iMessage, you name it, into one single AI-powered inbox. You can talk to it with your voice, and it's got companion apps so you can use it from your phone or your desktop. And because it's running locally, it is always on, completely personal, and just incredibly fast.
And just so you know, we're not talking about some obscure little side project here. This thing is a massive open source effort. It has over 173,000 stars on GitHub. That's a huge community of developers and users who are all in on this vision of a personal, controllable AI.
But here's what makes OpenClaw so genuinely powerful. It isn't just that it runs on your machine. The entire architecture is built around this core concept they call skills.
And honestly, the absolute easiest way to think about them is just like this. Skills are basically superpowers for your AI. They're like these little plug-and-play modules that give your assistant brand new abilities, connecting it to the world and letting it do these incredibly specific, powerful tasks.
You know, the project's own documentation puts it perfectly. Skills are what let the assistant break out of just being a chatbot and actually do things. They let it interact with APIs, automate really complex workflows, and basically become a specialist in any area you need it to be.
Okay, let's make this real. Here's just one example. There's a skill for integrating a coding model, and it does way more than just call an API. It can manage other AI agents for you, it saves your progress so you can pick up right where you left off, and it even syncs your coding sessions across your phone and your computer, all from one skill.
Now, you might see this and think it looks a little technical, and you're right, but you don't need to understand every function here. The real point of showing you this is to prove that OpenClaw is a serious developer-first platform. This is what's under the hood. It gives you this incredibly deep level of control to programmatically manage how your assistant connects to everything else.
So if just one skill can be that powerful, imagine what an entire ecosystem of them can do. Let's zoom out and take a look at the just massive universe of skills that are available for OpenClaw.
And this is where it gets absolutely incredible. There are over 1,700, that's 1700, curated, community-built skills ready to go. A massive, crowdsourced library of superpowers just waiting for your assistant to learn.
And they cover just about anything you can think of. For all you developers and sysadmins out there, there are skills to manage your infrastructure with Ansible, control your Kubernetes clusters, wrangle Docker containers. You can even interact with your Proxmox server or your Tailscale network.
It can also be a conductor for other AIs. There are skills to generate images with services like Comfy UI and Krea. You can tap into Google's Gemini models. You can even ask it to summarize a long YouTube video for you without ever having to open your browser. And it's not just digital stuff. OpenClaw can reach right into your physical world. There are skills for smart home platforms like Home Assistant, skills to monitor your 3D printer, control your music player, or even check stats on your Plex server with Tatali.
So the whole point, the crucial takeaway is this. This entire universe of capabilities is built on a foundation that you control, from top to bottom. It puts the power squarely back in your hands. It's your assistant following your rules.
And you might be thinking, okay, this sounds incredible, but it's probably a huge pain to set up. Well, actually, getting started is surprisingly simple.
Even if you're not a command line whiz, it's really just 2 commands, one to install it and another to run a friendly wizard that just walks you through the whole setup.
I think this quote from the developers themselves really just sums it all up perfectly. The goal here isn't to build another cloud assistant. It's to create something fundamentally different. An experience that is local, fast, and feels like a true, seamless extension of your own digital life.
And that really just leaves us with one final thought. The community has built this incredibly powerful and flexible platform. The tools are all there. So the real question now is, with this level of control and this whole universe of skills right at your fingertips, what will you build with it?